This week in the shop, we get updates on Jesse's Suburban, Loren's Sportsmobile, and Tyson's XJ.
Hey everybody, Jesse here, Campfire Passport. Here today to talk to you a little bit about my Suburban named Raw Dog. So I do want to touch on the transfer case a little bit. I kept the transfer case drop side the same because the Chevys, these early Chevys are a passenger side drop. The newer Chevys with the IFS are driver's side drop. So instead of changing out the transfer case, I decided that I wanted to do a Dan 60. There was a little bit of work that went in here, and I kind of just wung it a little bit. So this is actually the 263 T case that came with the donor truck. The 263 HD is an electronically actuated shifter, and I wanted a manual shift, so I went to the yard and I found a 261 HD, which is the manual shift. First thing I did, opened the thing up, cracked it open, did a rebuild on it, and addressed the pump rub issue that is very common on these. Second thing I did is got the ORD slip yoke eliminator for the output shaft on the front end of the T case. So now we got a 1410 U-joint and no slip yoke on the front. Built my own little driveline for the front, just kind of temporary. Don't plan on doing any four-wheel driving on the road at high speed right now. It's kind of low speed off-roading. So we'll eventually get I'll have one made, but just penny pinching where I can. Rear of the T case, these do have a slip yoke as well. I did not want that, so I kind of did my own little hack and tap on this. Cut down the seal on the rear. There's this little extra bushing on here, and just cut that off there so I could leave myself some room. But I ended up tapping the output shaft of this for a 1/2 inch bolt, 1/2 that goes in here. It's hard steel on the end for the first 1/4 inch, so this is really difficult to get through. Burned a lot of carbide bits, but I made it through, made it to some of the soft stuff, tapped it in there, and then the yoke from a TH400 two-wheel drive works on the end of these perfect, so slap that on there, and there's no more slip yoke. The slip is in the shaft, which I got from Adam's Drivelines. Great guys, honestly. They had me my driveline within 3 days, and I am nowhere near the back. So hit up Adam's if you need a driveline made.
Okay, let me show you what I'm doing to my van. So I've been using propane heat for the last couple years, and I don't like all the moisture buildup inside the van, so everybody's been installing diesel heaters, and I thought it might be kind of cool to do that. So I bought a diesel heater, and I've been putting off installing it, but now I think it's time to do it. Here's the tank. I hung the tank. What's nice about this is it is a top feed, so there's no leaking at the bottom. It's gonna draw it straight out the top. And then if I need to adjust anything, I can just take out one bolt here, and it'll tilt down, and I can work on anything at the top. I can also reach up and fill it. I'll just use a little gas can and a transfer pump. That'll be easy. And it's up out of the way. It's obviously higher up than the differential, and it's kind of below any dragging points that I may have on the chassis. So it's pretty well protected. Needed to install power. So we got power coming from a house battery. But the power is going to come up through kind of a hole, which I'm going to cut right here. That's going to pass through, and I'll have 10 gauge wire coming from the house battery, which is going to come up and loop around here and behind this panel and drop back down. I'm going to have it run through this 30 amp breaker. That way I can isolate the panel. If nothing else, I can at least isolate the panel if I need to do any additional work on it. Then the power will come out and come up to the positive on the fuse panel, and then we'll take the negative and ground that to the frame back down through that hole again. I'm adding this panel here to just kind of protect everything and make sure that no obstructions end up blocking the air intake. So normally with one of these diesel heaters, you got to take a panel like this and you got to drill all those individual holes through the frame or through the chassis body. So what I did was purchase a turret, and this allows you to only cut one hole and then drop this in and then install everything onto that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the hole. This is gonna hurt. It's kind of catching on everything on the way down, so I'll have to whack that into place. Pretty good fit. So as you can see, that's easier than cutting several individual holes, and it's right up against that seam. And so now I need to route everything else. Heat's gonna go all the way back to that bulkhead there, and then I'll cut a hole in there for the vent, and that should be good. Okay, the heater's running. Got it on its lowest setting right now. If I crank it up, I can actually go higher than that, but crank it along until it's slowed up. This pipe goes back to the bulkhead. All the connections are here. You can see the tank's full over there. Exhaust not hung all the way yet. And nice warm air blowing in.
Hello, my name is Tyson. This is my 92 Jeep Cherokee Sport 2-door. Today we decided to put a Dana 44 in. It came with a factory Dana 35, as they all did. I happened upon an old XJ that I used for parts, and it is one of the more uncommon types that had the Dana 44 in it. So that's what we put in. Everything went real smooth, except that the U-bolts are a different size from the 35, so Colin drove me around to find the right U-bolts. Got that sorted. Oh yeah, that's gonna be perfect. This success story brought to you by Napa. In classic me fashion, I did not take anything apart to inspect the condition anything of that sort. So everything went in, and the wheel cylinders are seized on both sides. So springs, it's got the little hooky do that's supposed to just grab, and then when you're ready to go back on, people say drum brakes are hard. You just don't have the right tools. That will have to be addressed later on. Right now we're running front brakes only. Should be fine. E-brake works great, so that can be a little modulation if necessary in a hairy situation. Overall, took it around the block, runs great. Super excited. We're going to change gears on it to match some 488s that will go in another Dana 30 with chromoly axles and all sorts of other goodies. So that'll be for another time. Thanks.